in the order I see. So basic technology is first. Basic science made their presentation already, but I don't know if you would still want to do it again today. You can let me know. Let me see. Make sure that you get your crew members to join on the live stream if we cannot admit people again. Because once we go live, we will not be able to admit people in. Yeah. Make sure that you get your crew members to join on the live stream if we cannot admit people again. Because once we go live, we will not be able to admit people in. Yeah, make sure that you get your crew members to join on the live stream if we cannot admit people again. Because once we go live, we will not be able to admit people in. Okay, so here is the okay. Are we live? Okay. You are welcome. You are welcome. Yeah. Presentations. Okay, I've shared. Okay. Yeah, no problem. So here is how we start. I'm going to share my screen so that we can take the national anthem. Yes. So can you see my screen?
We can see you, ma.
But you can't see my screen.
Not yet. It's only you I'm seeing from here.
Okay, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
It's starting now.
Okay.
But it's not your friend. Okay, I can see Nigeria, we hail the national anthem.
Okay.
You should start.
Yes.
Nigeria, we hail thee. Our native land, no tribe but Nigeria, to
Awesome motherland,
our flag
our
shall
flag shall
be
be a symbol
the
where truth and justice reign. One battle won, and this we count again. I mean, under to our children, a banner without stain. Oh God of all creation, that is our only request for us to build a nation where no man is oppressed.
And so
With all with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed.
Wow. You are welcome. So we are here now. Welcome all. Are you ready? Basic technology.
You are ready, ma?
yes, ma.
Yeah. Basic technology. You have 20 minutes, please. 20 minutes, and then we take questions. Right? I'm going to look at time. We keep to time. Can you see my screen?
You can see it now. Can we start now, ma'am?
No, I'll let you know. I want to share this slide. Okay. Let me quickly see if there are no other persons in the waiting room. Once I admit this last person, we are going to start, and I will not be able to admit any other person because I also want to learn. Okay. Right. Okay. Welcome, Basic Technology.
Thank you, ma.
Who's representing?
Okay, it's me and my colleague. We are here. Good
Awesome.
morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
My name is Bakwiganiat Oluwatosin. You are welcome to our live presentation on space science in relating rubber and plastics, on how rubber and plastics can
Okay,
be
good
used.
morning.
On how rubber and plastic can be of use in the spacecraft. So now let's get the next slide, ma. Good morning. Hello.
We are still having a first slide.
Okay. Hello. Yeah. So now.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. We want to look at how rubber and plastic are being used in the spacecraft in order to reduce its transmission into the spacecraft. Now we look at learning objectives. At the end of this lesson, what do we plan to get? First is that students should be able to create a simple model of a spacecraft component, which can be a thermal insulator or a sealing gasket. But the one we'll be doing today is the thermal insulator. And two, they should be able to describe the two types of rubber that we have. They should be able to describe usefulness of rubber and state the properties of rubber, which makes it a good instrument for spacecraft insulator. Next slide. Yes, rubber and plastic. Let's compare and contrast. You can see the eraser. The eraser is an example of a rubber material, whereas the plastic container is example of our plastic, and the rubber tire is a good example of our rubber. Now, what is the difference between rubber and plastic? You might feel that, oh, they look alike. Yes, they're almost the same thing. You might be right, but the major difference between a rubber and plastic is that rubber are elastic. They have this elasticity property compared to plastic. That is what I mean by elasticity, is that they can be stretched. They can be stretched when a force is applied to it. Unlike plastic, they are being molded and they cannot be stretched. Next slide, please. Now, still comparing our rubber and plastic, when you look around you, you have your plastic and you have your rubber gadgets. You find a very lot of differences, which I've explained earlier. You can brainstorm on that and think about the elasticity and inelastic property of the plastic material. Then we move to the next slide. Now, rubber. In rubber, we can from the screen we can see it. It's just a material that can be stretched, just as I've explained earlier. It can be stretched when you apply force to a rubber. This is one example of a rubber. When you apply force, it's stretched, and after the force is being removed, it goes back to its normal position. That is a rubber. That is one of the best property that you can know. This one is a rubber material compared to any other material that you can have. Next slide, please. Now we move to the types of rubber. Yes, we have basically two types of rubber. We have the natural rubber, which is gotten from the latex tree. It is natural because it is not being made. It is gotten earthly from the divine. So now, how do we know the natural rubber? The latex tree, there's a tree we call latex tree. It produces rubber naturally. And this deteriorates with time when exposed to sunlight. Examples of materials that are gotten from the latex rubber, from the natural rubber, is your shoe soles, the hot water bottles, the balloons, and rubber boots. For instance, look at your balloon. When you apply air into your balloon, it brings out a fine shape. But as time goes on, you just hear it burst out. It is because of the sunlight that is being exposed to. That is the reason why balloons, in most cases, they burst out at the long run. Now, let's look at the synthetic rubber. The next slide. Synthetic rubber, they actually gotten from chemicals. A good example of synthetic rubber is our tire, the car tire. They are gotten from chemicals. Examples of those chemicals are the butyl rubber and the neoprene. This tire, they last longer. They do not deteriorate due to sunlight or temperature because they have resistance. They can withstand the sunlight, the heat. Other examples of that is your belt, your door and window profiles, among others. Then we'll move to the next slide. Now look at the properties of rubber. The properties of rubber include that they are a good electrical insulator. This property makes it an excellent spacecraft thermal insulator. 2, they do not rust or corrode. They do not get spoiled. They are good shock absorber. Example is the glove that this electrician used to use. If you look at the outer part of the glove, it's made of rubber and the inner part is made of a cotton-like material. If you watch it very well, if you give it a close look. Then the fourth one is that they are generally flexible. Rubbers are highly elastic too. They are elastic. When you stretch them, they expand. Next slide now, we look at plastics. Plastics are synthetic material made from many units of monomers. What do we call monomers? Monomers can be carbon, your nitrogen, your hydrogen, coming together to form what? Polymer. And the process of that is known as polymerization. In the process of polymerization, plastic is formed. When we have 2, 3, or more monomers coming together, we get our plastic, and it is known as what? Polymerization. Now let's quickly look at the model of how rubber is being used as a thermal insulation in a spacecraft. Next slide, please. Okay, a video on YouTube shows us why plastic, which will not be able to take as time won't permit us. We'll be going into the practical presentation of how to create a simple model of a spacecraft component. That is our thermal insulator. With me here, we have different materials to use. We have our plastic, which will serve as the component of the spacecraft, the inner part, like the environment of the spacecraft. I hope you are with me. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
We have our rubber, any of the rubber, either the rubber band or the glove. We have a cotton, which will serve as an inner insulator. And we also have our aluminum film. We don't have our aluminum film here, but we have our aluminum film. What does aluminum foil does? Aluminum foil will help reduce the heat coming from the sun in the spacecraft. Now, the process. First, this is our plastic, which is the environment of the spacecraft. Then we have our rubber. We have our rubber tied around it, which will make it to do what? Not to allow it in. If you can see my video, I'm trying to tie the rubber around it.
You can see. Bring your hand to the screen so that we can see what you are doing. Yes. Good.
Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Like this. This tying continues until when we get to the down part of the plastic. Then we apply our cotton wool inside it in order to reduce heat inside. After that, we take our aluminum foil. The aluminum foil is being wrapped around the plastic after the rubber band. After a rubber, the aluminum foil assists that the sun heat is being reduced, and any other heat that can penetrate the aluminum foil, the rubber does what? Does not allow it to enter the spacecraft. That is the simple model of the spacecraft thermal insulator. Please, my colleague will take it from here. Thank you very much. Over to you, Facilitator Bumi.
Okay, thank you so much for the presentation, Sister Bakri. I really appreciate it. So you have done slide 316. So the final assembly, ensure all layer. Please help us go to the final slide 18, ma'am. Slide 18. Slide 18. Final assembly. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Which one are you? Am I there?
So yes, we
final assembly.
Yes. So we ensure all layers are securely attached. The model should show the sequence, the plastic, which is the outer layer, which my colleague has explained, then the rubber band that we use to seal the insulator. Then the insulating material that we use, she mentioned that we use cotton, we can also use foam, and the aluminum foil, which will be the thermal shielding, so that the cold from outside will not be able to penetrate inside. So let's go to the next one. Next slide, please.
Yeah, is it this one?
Thank you. The plastic, yes, no. 19. The next one, the plastic container before 19. 18, please. I'm sorry. 18.
I'm not seeing the numbers here. So when I get there,
just check me. After the final, okay. No, go back, please. Go back one more. Okay, thank you. The plastic container provides structures. That's the building. The rubber layer acts as an insulator or sealant. The rubber layer that we use, the black one that she showed us, while the cotton ball or the foam serve as an insulation to maintain internal temperature, which I've explained. The aluminum foil reflects external heat and protect the spacecraft. That's why when we travel in space, you will not feel cold. Even though the place is cold already, you will not feel it with this experiment we just did. Next slide, please. Next one, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Processing of plastic.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. So method of production of plastic include, we have injection molding, we have compression molding, we have extrusions molding and calendering. These are different processes of plastic that we have. So let's go to the next slide, please. Next slide, please. So what is good about plastic? Which is a question that somebody can ask me that. What is good about plastic? Why do we need plastic? Why is plastic so useful? It keeps, these are the little part of it that we have in our slide here. The first one is, it keeps things airtight. That means the air will not be able to enter into whatever we have in our container, like the one we have for our rice, our beans, or maybe want to bake cake. We have to airtight it so that air will not enter. We close it for the floor to rise. Likewise, when we have our rice, we close it so that the dampness will not enter and spoil our rice and our food material. Then the second one we have here is keeps things watertight, like our bottle. Maybe you have a bottle inside the fridge, or we have to enter into it unless we have the original material that we have there. So, and it will also avoid leakages. The next one is our chair that we use, our baby chair that we use. It can be shaped and molded into lots of different things, from chairs to cars and pen or to carpet size. You know, we explained in our slide that our plastic is a synthetic material. Then the next one is it can even look pretty. When we look at it, it's colorful, especially when we mix things together. When it comes out, the result is always looking good. So let's discuss this. Can you think of any other good things about plastic? Can anyone tell me one thing that you can remember about plastic? Anyone, please? Anyone? Any good thing that you think you know about plastic? Any good thing? I'm waiting.
Anyone? If you have, if you want to talk, raise your hand. Use there is something to raise your hand with, and unmute, then speak. Because over the time, all I've known about plastic is that they cause pollution, is always negative. But now, yeah. So if you've raised your hand, please unmute. And okay, Similoluwa, tell us, answer the question. You can speak, Simi.
Okay, ma. Amazing morning, everyone. Oh, part of what I know about plastic is that is about their durability. Durability. When we talk about durability, plastic is resistant to wear and tear. That's making it a great material for products that needs to withstand harsh environments. So it's very durable. It's very durable. It's water resistant. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, I can.
Okay,
It's
ma'am.
very durable and is resistant to harsh weather conditions, which is a very important factor in space. In space, they are exposed to ultra radiations, and the environment is not really that pleasant. Yes, we can hear you. I'm with you.
So they are also lightweighted.
Okay, thank you. I was locked out. I don't know what happened. So
they're also lightweighted.
Able to hear what
yeah. Most of plastic are often lighter, and this make it easier for transport and handling. It make it easier when you are transporting it, that is taking it from one place to other, and it make it handle, that is easy to be handled.
Awesome.
Hello.
Thank you. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes,
we are with you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And
if we should look at...
Okay, keep going. Keep talking.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. And it is also cost effective. Compared to iron and other materials, plastic is generally cheaper to produce than other material, and which make it more popular. Hello?
Hi.
For mass production. Yeah. So it's rarely you see companies that doesn't use plastic. Most companies use plastic for their production because it is what? It is cost effective. That is, it is cheaper. Hello, ma'am.
Awesome.
We are with you. Thank you so much for the contribution, ma'am. Really appreciate.
So because of our time, I would like to stop here, ma'am.
Yes, Grace Father,
or should I
continue? Up next.
Okay, ma'am.
Do you still have more to share? Similoluwa?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please do that in 1 minute.
Okay, ma'am. Then when we talk about recycling, many types of plastic are very recyclable. It is recyclable. That is, we use it for to make other things. Other things can come out from it, which help reduce waste and conserve resources.
Fantastic.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So we cannot, and it's also it's good for safety. That is, plastic is used in safety gear like our helmet, seat belt, and airbag. And why do we do this? Why not iron? Why don't we use iron for safety helmet, seat belt, and the likes? We can't use this because plastic is it's shock absorbing properties. It has shock absorbing properties, unlike iron and other materials like wood and the likes. So it's good for safety. It is used for safety as well. I would like to stop here, ma'am.
Awesome. I'm taking notes.
Thank you, ma'am.
See my notes.
Thank you, ma'am.
LSI notebook. So Me too, I'm learning. Because when I get back to class too, you know, we said that it's interdisciplinary. And
Yes,
I
ma'am.
can be teaching chemistry. There's even a topic on plastics in chemistry. There's polymers. So when I
Yes, yes,
get to
ma'am.
class, I'm getting ideas of how to integrate a space science component on plastics. And I've really learned a lot from you. Good job.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
ma'am. Thank
Miss
you, ma'am.
Grace, permit me to just call your names because I don't know whether one is male or female. So Grace, up next. Grace Father Iro.
Hello,
Yes, we are
can
with
you
you.
hear me? I'm great, Father Aaron. So I want to ask question on this recycling. They are really done well. They are really done a great job from this group. I really, in fact, I really appreciate them. So I just want to ask question on the recycling.
It's
That
like
they
you're
should put more
recording
light.
and it's
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
yes,
Hello? Okay.
yes,
That
it's
they
better
should put
now.
more light on this recycling, how they are recycling all this plastic. And then the second thing is that this plastic, you know, if you look at, for example, all these cooler that they normally use to preserve the food, all those things, you see that normally is the plastic they use. So there is one example that this woman wants to do this practical one, but it just show us all these things. It really did not even go deep onto that practical. So that's what I want to ask. Thank you.
Okay, I didn't really quite get your questions, but you are going to put them as a message. And let me open the WhatsApp group so that
Okay.
go to the WhatsApp group now and type these questions there. The general WhatsApp group. Put this question there. Because of time, we will not be going deep into that. Right.
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Okay. So we are back. We've discussed what is good about plastics. Can I move on to the next slide?
Yes, ma'am. And I would like to say that
Yes.
to all the people that answered the question, we really appreciate that. We thank them for the more insights, more suggestions they gave us. Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
let's go to our next slide, critical thinking and communication. So we have a question here. Look at these two pictures. By my left-hand side, I can see PET bottles. And by my right-hand side, I can see bottled water or water bottle, depending on how you call it. Which do you think is the right thing to use to help the environment? I want us to look at it critically. The two of them are being used for water. So which one do we think is good or is the right thing to use to help our environment? This is another question that we need to ask ourselves. Is it the bottled water that we all use to buy or the one that the student used to take to school?
The one students use to take to school is fine. I think that one is okay. Because it saves the environment.
I supported it. The second one from Grace.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, that would be the best option, because why do I say that's the best option? If you get the PET bottle, by the time we drop it, after drinking the water inside, we drop it on the floor. It's not everybody that use it to pack their hoys or something else. So they will drop it on the floor. Before you know it, a breeze will blow it, and it will plug our sewage. It will clog our runway, I'm sorry, the English run away from my head. All our gutters, thank you. The gutter, it will clog it and cause flooding. And this example, we can see it in our environment daily. So how do we prevent this? Is by packing it. Or the best option is to get our bottled water. The bottled water is being recycled already from this PET bottle, from the left-hand side to the second end, the right-hand side, is being rebranded, which we can reuse over and over. And we can't even drop it on the floor to cause any flooding in our environment. Thank you. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's make our choice here. We look at the two pictures we have in front of us in this slide. Which one do we think is the right bag to use to help the environment? Is it the jute bag
The
that we have?
left. The
Yes.
gift,
Is it
the
the
left, the
left
left,
hand
the one
side?
at the left.
Is it okay? Thank you very much. Why the
The one at
second
the
one
left.
is the
In
thank
fact,
you.
that one will disturb us.
It's even
Yes.
beautiful, it's fashionable, it's something you can even take to church. We can't take nylon to church. People will see what we have inside nylon. While the jute bag is fine, you can't even see what we have. We're only scared of I'm buying rice in this economy, and people will be saying, "I'm to roll." Do you understand? So I think my own choice too, I'll follow the audience. The jute bag is the best one. Next slide, please. Let's start, please. So now let's make our choice. We are still making our choice. We look at the two pictures again. Which one do we think is the right one to do? Which one is the right one to do to help our environment? Is it after using our bottle, the oil, the water, we drop it on the floor like most of us used to do, even inside bus, you will see many person, they will finish drinking pure water, even pure water, they will drop it. They will finish drinking their pet water, bottled water, they will drop it. I'll be like, why? You are supposed to look for dustbin and drop it, not on the floor. But most of us, we do that. Or we recycle it. So which one do we think is the best option in this?
Recycle bin.
Recycling bin. Recycling bin.
Recycle bin.
Thank you.
But
Thank
you
you.
should make
Thank you. That's the best
make
option
it
to
available.
use to make our environment beautiful. Thank you, ma'am. Next slide, please. Where we go to our, how do we now make difference? We can be the difference. No, next slide, ma'am. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you, ma'am. You can make a difference. Like the jingle that used to play on TV, that the change begins with me. We don't need our president to change it from the top. It can start from the bottom. The change begins with us. We can all help to clean up the planet by making small changes, like what I said. When you drink your water, please use the remaining water you are not using. Put it in your bag, or your biscuit nylon, put it in your bag. Your bottled water, put it in your bag. The canned drink that you are drinking, when you are done, put it in your bag. When you get to your house, dispose it in a proper way, not by dropping it. Okay, we have Loma in Lagos, they will pack it. No, we can start that with us. Then you can make a difference just by different colors, different choices. By cleaning our environment, we have some people that do that project. We can do it in our school. We can be the agent of change, where we create a box. If we don't have money for this big one, we can just create a box that you tell the students, when you are done with this, please drop it inside this place. Or we go to all our mama that used to sell food. Mama, please help us make our environment clean. When any students are buying sweet gala from you, please tell them to drop it inside this dustbin, and that will help our environment to be clean. So let's all work together to make the earth a healthier and clean place for everything. Like my slogan, whatever you give to the environment is what the environment will give back to you. Next slide, the conclusion. So our conclusion for this is, this simple model helps students understand how material like rubber and plastic are used in design of spacecraft components, particularly for thermal insulation and sealing. They can relate the model to how real spacecraft are built to withstand the harsh environment of space, which I have explained before. Next slide, please. So the evaluation should be the same thing with our learning objective, the difference between our rubber, natural rubber, and synthetic rubber. The highlight process involved in the plastic making. Then the student should be able to state 4 properties of rubber and differentiate between thermoplastic and thermosetting with 2 examples each. Then we have assignment. Next slide, please. Next slide, ma'am. Next slide, please. Okay, the assignment will be the last one for today's class. The students should be able to create content using InShot explaining. That means it will have video where you can cut and add things together, explaining problem with plastic in our society and the way forward. Thank you for having us. You are done, ma'am. Convener, we are done, ma'am. We can still make contribution to what we have. Our convener is not yet around to sign us out. Maybe she's enjoying our presentation.
Oh,
like this, my
I was mute all the while. And I was talking.
We are done with the presentation.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We are done with the presentation, ma'am.
Okay, I was saying that was a fantastic presentation. Well done. Well done. And I was saying that, especially for plastics, I always use that as a means to encourage our learners to be aware of how they pollute our environment. We recently created the Lagos State logo using plastics. And for unruly students who misbehave during classes, they lose their break time by going to pick all the PET bottles that students litter the environment with during break. So they get bags, they pick those bottles. That's one thing I do to them. All right, so we will now come back with the next group, right? Before then, I want you all to put on your cameras so that we can see everyone. And okay, Simi wants to ask a question. Simi Lolua, you can unmute.
Well done, ma'am. It's not a question. I've been raising up my hands for a while. I just want to add to what she said when she was asking a question about comparing the plastic bottle and the common, what's it called? This our food flask bottle that we do give our children to school. So, but to a layman, they can say it's a food flask bottle, but to an educator, it's an insulated bottle. So that was what I was about saying before, but I don't know if time still permits to just buttress a point.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes, ma'am. So when we are talking about, when we are comparing the regular bottled water and the insulated bottle, we can say that the insulated bottle are generally considered as a better option. And why is it like that? Because they are, like I said earlier, they are durable, the reusability, that is, we can reuse it again. We can use it over and over again, and this reduce the need for single-using plastic bottles. Then they are temperature control. their temperature control, like they can keep drinks either hot or cold for hours, and this eliminates the need for single use of plastic bottles. Then they have environmental impacts. What do I mean by this? When we are reusing an insulated bottle, they can significantly reduce plastic waste and minimize the carbon footprint. When we say carbon footprint, that is things that are associated with producing and disposing of plastic bottle. They also have health benefits. They have health benefits like they contain chemicals, where the regular bottle contain chemicals, but this insulated bottle, they are made of chemical-free and non-toxic material. So that was what I was about saying, ma'am.
Awesome. Thank you. So
Yes,
I'm going to end the live stream now, and we need to take the group picture first. Which group will be up next? I will be in the chat to check that. But then let's go turn on our camera. As we, only if you are, check that your background is good and looking good. Group representatives, make sure you also take pictures too, so that we'll see which group really turned up very well. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? Yes, let's try to keep to time. We will work on that for the subsequent presenters. Thank you. Let's try to keep to time. Yes. Okay, so waiting for, I want this screen to be beautiful. Any other person turn on their cards? Okay, so 3, 2, 1, go. I'll take one more. 3, 2, 1. Taking. Right.